Should Christians say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? That is the topic I'll be handling right now. And I would like to just forewarn, for a lot of people, this will not be an easy answer. And I already imagine it may not be well received. Just giving you that as a forewarning. I think to start off, we have to examine what is a pledge. A pledge is an oath or to swear. That being said, what does the Bible have to say on the subject of oaths? We go to Matthew 5:34 through 37. It says, "Do not swear on heaven, for that is God's throne. Do not swear on the earth, for that is his footstool. Do not swear on Jerusalem, for that is the city of the great king. Nor swear by your own head, for you cannot make one hair white or one hair black. But let your yea be yea and your nay, nay." And that's usually where we stop it at. At least that's how I'd ever heard. Nobody wants to talk about the last half of verse 37, which states that all oaths are from the evil one. All oaths. Now, a lot of people might think this is a harmless thing. It's just saying I'm loyal to my country. Is it harmless? What you see going on in the news today, there have been riots, protests, people threatening violence against their fellow citizens all over a flag, all over a piece of fabric that we give symbolism to. It's not even over our country or over the troops. I think if you ask anyone, and myself included, I support our troops. Any troops watching, any veterans watching, I want to thank you for your service. It is by their bravery, their shedding of blood, that we experience so many freedoms in this country. But I don't have to pledge my allegiance or loyalty. Another synonym would be devotion to a flag, to be thankful for what our troops have done. Nor do I have to pledge my allegiance to a flag to stand up for what is right and fight for the freedom of our fellow citizens. Now, remember, Jesus said, all oaths are of the evil one. Okay, so let's examine that. Has any harm come over allegiance to the flag? Well, I just mentioned we have protests, riots, people threatening violence over it. But we've turned it, I said this in an earlier video, I was going to talk about a false god running rampant in our country. We have turned the flag into a god. We worship it. Now, some of you might be going, no, we don't worship the flag. Pledging allegiance, very worship-like experience. Singing the national anthem, again, a very worship-like experience, holding your hand over your heart and facing the flag. And people are willing to die for the flag. Probably more so than I'd say people are willing to die for Jesus. Again, I know, offensive. But we won't stand up for him in our workplace. We won't stand up for him when our friends start to get upset or when our families start to get upset. Oh, but we'll stand for that flag. The flag is replacing itself in people's hearts where God used to stand. I mean, worship itself means reverence. I think a majority of the Americans would agree they have reverence for the flag. We worship it. Anybody question me on that? Look up the definition of worship. And what do we justify it as, well, what the flag stands for. Even if that allegiance was to the country, my loyalty cannot lie to the country, because the country is going to say things and try to convince us to do things that go against God's will. My allegiance is to God and to honor our leaders because they are placed there by God. But that doesn't mean I'll stand for everything that they believe in. The flag in the past has stood as a modern idol. I believe it was 1960 that Jehovah's Witnesses took it to the Supreme Court, saying that the Pledge of Allegiance was turning the flag into an idol, and that they should not have to say it because of religious freedoms. The Supreme Court ruled against them. That was overruled 4 years later. But those 4 years, you faced a real Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego type situation. For those 4 years, if you did not say the Pledge of Allegiance, you could have faced any sort of fine or penalty that the governing authorities decided you deserved. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were forced to kneel before a statue or get thrown into the fiery furnace. Again, I am not saying to dishonor our leaders. We are called to honor our leaders because they're placed there by God. And I'm not saying this as an attack against soldiers or police officers or firefighters or whoever stands underneath that flag in service. But I'm saying do not pledge your allegiance to it. Pledge your allegiance to God and only to God. Remember those words, Matthew 5:34-37. Look them up. Those are from Jesus' own lips. There's no way around that. He said, all oaths are from the evil one. All. Not some. Not except for the ones that seem relatively harmless. All oaths are from the evil one. So I'll leave you with this. My question is, does your allegiance, does your loyalty and devotion belong solely to God? And please keep in mind, even family members can start to steal our allegiance. Jesus again himself said, if you do not hate your mother and father and spouse, you are not worthy of following me. Now we know that the actual translation should read, if you do not love less. Don't go around hating your family members, because Jesus said, if you do not hate. Hating is against God's will as well. Remember, love God and love others. But you must love Jesus even more than your own loved ones. I hope that this has spoken to some people. You all have a blessed evening. God bless.